You're here with your mentor, Jake. Jake, you've been running bush survival workshops for the past 20 years.
Oh, as soon as my mum put me on the ground, she reckons I went and found a stick before I could walk, and I started digging and looking for grubs, and both my parents smoked cigarettes, so I'd pinch their lighter, don't do this at home, kids, and make a little fire and start cooking various little creatures that I'd find, and turned 49 today, 45 odd years later, not much has changed.
I'm a part of an international group of people who are really trying to shift the energy on the planet. And last year and the year before, I took part in ceremonies over in Peru to help with the energy on the planet. We're living in a time of duality and polarisation and separation, and it's time that we came into oneness. And the energy work that we do is actually to help move the old energy off the planet and bring in the new energy, which we call the new reality. And I actually believe that we're living in two realities right now. We've got the old reality and the new reality, and some people call it the new earth. And I believe that the new earth is here right now, and that we are the ones that are creating that through our everyday actions, through our consciousness, through our oneness, through our community, and through doing things at the grassroots level, coming into our heart, acting as true and authentic people, and living in oneness as much as we can, really caring for each other, really caring for the planet, and living true lives with love in our hearts.
In terms of that sort of duality and the new reality, do you get a sense of, are we still living in that, or will there be a different kind of world?
There are people that have no idea of what's really going on the planet, and there are those that have become aware, some people call it awake, and they understand what's happening on the planet. I've heard many different hypotheses about what will happen. There's another planet waiting, so when the shift occurs, that there will be some on the planet that will be taken to this new earth. It's a very interesting concept, but there are many prophecies that have prophesied the solar flash, where we could have 90 days of darkness. The Hopi Indians talk about the divide there's one river that divides into two, and a lot of ancient cultures talk about this time where there is actually a shift. And although we're trying to come into oneness, those that aren't ready yet will continue to do their learning on the planet while the rest actually shift into the new reality.
Would say that potentially that other planet, does that involve just humans or other beings?
Well, there are definitely other beings out there, and that's scientifically proven. They've, interjected with nuclear testing, and it's not talked about. There are definitely beings out there, and yes, there would be.
So you heard about this and have read about this in books? Is that where you sort of get your ideas from?
I'm curious. I become curious. I listen, I watch. I usually go off mainstream. I look at factual things. There are a lot of people out there that say a lot of different things are happening on the planet. And when I'm not actually sure, I go into my heart. I call it my truth filter. And I sit with that and I will find the answer.
When do you believe this might happen?
Well, I know that November this year is pretty tumultuous.
Right.
In that we have a lot of things that are teetering on the edge. We have, the global financial crisis. We have the possibility, the US elections that could have impacts right across the planet. But for me, I'm taking part in a worldwide ceremony. We're actually going to be closing 11 gateways that have been opened because we're living in an expired world, and we need to actually close those gateways because there's new energy that's waiting to come in. So November could be quite a big month.
Vicki, have you shared your views with your family, how you feel about the world and potentially November?
To a degree. I've got a couple of children and they don't see the same as me, and that's been difficult. And I do have grandchildren as well, and the grandchildren are very much aware of what's going on, more so than their parents. And I've tried to indicate to them, maybe you could do a little bit of prepping, and I've given them, you know, it's 20-litre containers to put water in, to put under the house or the garage or whatever, and they're still empty. You know, that's just an indication that they're not there, they don't understand it. They do think I'm a bit out there doing all this prepping, but as a grandparent I teach my grandchildren. They've learned how to build a shelter, they've learned how to make a fire. So I've given them some skills, but they're actually connected to the earth, and we need to take them back to that connection. We've been disconnected for too long. We've been separated and polarised.
If people come up to you and question your beliefs, like, what do you say to them?
Well, I'm probably discerning about what I say. It's very interesting. I probably ask them questions to gauge where they're up to, because I know there are some people that will mock me if I tell them too much about what I believe. But this is something that I live, and I seem to know who will actually be on board with me. I seem to, whether it's a certain vibration that they hold or whether it's certain energy that they have, I seem to know, and I don't care really.
What do you teach your students? End of days, the enduring pull of the apocalypse.
I don't live in fear about that. I just have something prepared and ready.
I'd rather be a warrior in a garden than a gardener in a war.
I haven't always been a prepper. I was a full-time teacher for many, many years. Was principal of many schools. I certainly didn't expect that I would be prepping at this time of my life. I expected to be sitting back and relaxing and spending time with my grandchildren. I started because I felt that change was looming. So if something went wrong, I could probably live out of the van at least for 6 months. Now, this is the bathroom in here that has a shower and a toilet and a sink. Got the gas cooker here. I put solar panels on the roof so I can be off-grid. I still need to get a diesel heater in there. I just get dressed really quickly when it's cold. You learn to adapt to it all, and that's the thing, you need to learn to adapt. The bed actually comes down. Every prepper should have a walkout bag. If there's an emergency and the alarm goes off, then you can just pick that up and go. But I've just kept adding to mine, and I have about 5 or 6 and I cannot carry them all. Prepping isn't about stockpiling and putting things aside. This is a multi-tool. It's learning new skills. This is an outdoor... Oh! I've learned bushcraft. I'm learning herbal remedies and medicines. You can prep not just physically, but you can prep spiritually. My family and prepping, they aren't on the same level as me. I actually hope out of all this is that I help them to survive.